Hello, everyone. I am super excited. Today is the day I'm doing the Q&A session. Woo, I've got my flip chart back here. I got quite a few questions from a lot of different people, so thank you so much if you've already submitted your question. Any tips on do's and don'ts when trail riding? So I think Warwick shared a great story about the bear thing. Like, I'm not going to step on his toes there. I'll let you guys go and watch his talk if you haven't already. So he had a really great story about people that are going out on the trail basically before they're ready for it. So that is one of the things that I would say as well, is make sure when you're going out on a trail, you trust your horse. You have that relationship with your horse. Kind of like that story I told about Lily earlier. You know, she saw something. She's like, is that a tiger? Hey, just want to let you know that might be a tiger. But I know that she's listening to me. And if I'm relaxed, she's going to relax. Like, she's going to get over it and we're going to move on. And, you know, it's safe. And I know that there's not going to be any issues. So, you know, you need to know yourself. You need to know your horse. And if you're, you know, like I said, I travel a lot and I do like, I go to a random country and I'm like trail riding. So I'm like in the wilderness with no phone signal on a strange horse for, you know, a week or 2 weeks or, you know, however long. And for a lot of people that might sound a little bit intimidating. But the thing is, as I said, you know, horses speak one language. So if you speak that language, you know that you're going to build that relationship super fast with the horse, even if it's a like total stranger and they don't know you the first hour. By the end of day one, that horse is like, oh yeah, this lady knows what she's doing. Like, I'm just going to do what she says. And that happens, you know, they do. If you know what you're doing, they're like, oh yeah, she's got this. Yeah. So you can develop that relationship in a single ride. So yeah, you need to master your emotions, master your own body, be able to have things like breathing and air breaks and, you know, be able to control what it is that you're doing, especially emotions, because our emotions are things that horses pick up on so much quicker than humans do. You know, they know when you're lying. So as a coach, I know when my student gets on their horse, they might have told me a few minutes earlier, like, oh yeah, yesterday was a great day. I went out and it was so much fun. How are you or whatever? And then they get on their horse and something's not right. And their horse is telling me, like, their horse is ratting them out basically. And yeah, so basically, you know, they can sense your true emotions and they manifest it. It comes out. If you're upset or nervous, your horse is going to be nervous, especially if you're on a sensitive horse. So yeah, you need to be able to master your emotions. And then let's see, I think I had one other question, but I don't know if I wrote it down. Okay, so this is the last one I'll do for today. So my horse is heavy on the forehand. What should I do? And this girl, she was kind of telling me a story about how her horse, you know, has a very bouncy, jarry trot. It's kind of like a jackhammer, she says. So it sounds very uncomfortable to ride her horse. And she's really struggling with her horse. And she said she's tried doing some pull exercises to get the horse to pick up her feet, or, you know, trying different things. She's tried, I think she said, turn on the haunches or something like that. But basically, to me, it sounds like the problem, that's why I'm putting this as a question, the problem is actually the fact that the horse is not balanced. The horse is on the forehand. Now, I will say there are horses that are genuinely bouncy compared to others. So that horse might always be a little bit bouncier than, you know, I don't know, if you ride a Icelandic pony, like they're smooth like glass. So, you know, there are horses that are just bouncy. So Christian, his horse, Q, I would say she's a little bit bouncier than Lily. Like, Lily is like, she's floating. Her back doesn't move. So Q definitely has a little bit more bounce to her, but it's not uncomfortable. And because she is sitting, she's very, you know, uphill or whatever. So it does make a huge difference because that energy is going up. So what I want to say for this, and I'll just share my screen quickly. Let me find it. Yes, so hopefully you guys can see this. This is my YouTube channel, International Equestrian. It's a pretty new channel. I've just had it for a couple of months now, but I already have quite a few videos. So, you know, make sure you go and you subscribe to our channel. But there is a video that I did, stop your horse from pulling and being heavy on the forehand. I cover this a lot more in this video. And then there's another video which I think you should watch, which is how to hold the reins and avoiding some common mistakes that people are doing with their rein contact. So these two videos, I would say, will help you quite a lot to stop your horse from feeling heavy. And heaviness can definitely make it feel, let me just stop sharing for a second. Okay, anyways, so heaviness with your horses, when your horse is like dragging you down, when they're onto the forehand, when they're pulling, when they're heavy, it can definitely feel awful to ride. Okay, I know this was in England. I was riding, and this girl, she thought she was doing me a favor by letting me ride her horse. And let me tell you, it wasn't a favor. I rode her horse because I think that was when Q was off. So we just had Lily. So my husband was riding Lily, and then I didn't have a horse to ride, and we wanted to just go for a little like trail ride or something. So anyways, this girl, she let me borrow her horse. And it was like the most horrible, awful ride because the horse was just so heavy and just pulling like crazy. And it was like a tank, this horse. It was like one of those cobs that was just all chest muscle, you know, like she was like a bulldozer. And so I spent the entire time just trying to get the horse to stop. Again, kind of the earlier discussion, stop trying to lean. You know, horses can't pull if they have nothing to pull against. But then because, you know, this horse was so used to doing that, when I would drop the reins and she would kind of stumble on her face, like she didn't know how to actually carry her own weight without leaning on the rider. So it was just a horrible, awful ride. Anyways, so when your horse is pulling or on the forehand, basically the short version is it's your fault. Okay, that means you are giving the horse something to pull against. That means you're probably, and let me stand to kind of show you this. What you're probably doing is you're locked somewhere. It might be your elbows, it might be your shoulder, it might be that you're kind of squeezing, but somewhere in your upper body is tension and you're locking and you don't even realize that you're doing. So most of the time they don't realize, like, it's not that they're consciously pulling on the horse. Some of them are, but a lot of times there's a lock. Okay, there's something somewhere, and, you know, without seeing a video of you, I can't tell exactly where it might be. So you need to kind of evaluate and assess yourself, but that means you're locking something. And it also means even if you're lunging, you're probably putting a lot of tension on the lunge rope. You know, the lunge rope is not relaxed, and she's not just out on the circle because she can. You're kind of holding her there. So that's a form of connection and locking and bracing as well. So they can lean on a lunge line just like they can lean in the saddle while riding. So there's lots of scenarios where you could be kind of helping them to be on the forehand. So usually it's because you're locked somewhere, and you need to learn to just allow your body to move with them, move in the motion with them, and not just like hold the reins like in place. So that's one of the things which you need to do. And what I would suggest is, if your horse is very heavy and down, you need to start picking your horse up. Okay, pick the reins up and then let them go. And I would suggest riding on a lunge line in the beginning if you feel like your horse is just going to bolt like crazy around the arena if you drop the reins. So I would start with having a professional, maybe a trainer, a coach, or somebody who can help you, who's like experienced and able to, you know, hold a lunge line. Start on the lunge line and just start like gently picking them up. And I mean like physically picking the reins up, kind of picking them up so that the horse's head kind of comes up, and then drop the reins. And then they're going to go back down, and then you pick them up, and then you drop them. Just do that and walk. Like, you don't have to do it in, you know, trot or canter or whatever. Just do it and walk, and then pick them up, and then they're going to go back down. And then you know, in the beginning, it's going to be a little bit frustrating. Like, oh, I have to pick them up every second stride. In the beginning, you're just going to have to deal with that. But at some point, the horses, you know, again, if you kind of poke the bear enough, you know, if you just kind of keep doing it, at some point, the horse is going to be like, oh, fine. And then also in the discussion with Christian, when he was talking about, you know, riding downhill, riding if you can, again, find a hill or a slope or like whatever, pick them up and have them kind of sit on their hind weight. And you don't even have to ride them when you do this. You can do it while you're leading them. Just kind of wiggle the rope and make them pick their head up a little bit. And the reason is to kind of get them to shift their weight so that they're putting more weight behind them and sort of stepping the hind legs underneath their belly a little bit more. So you do that in the beginning, again, to kind of help get the weight back there. They're not going to have back muscles in the beginning. Right now, they probably have very good shoulder muscles or chest muscles. They don't have back muscles. So it's going to be hard. You don't want to, like, you know, make them too sore or whatever. Just do it a little bit. Do it for 5 minutes and then carry on with your day. Do something else, you know, do 10 minutes of these kind of things, and then, you know, slowly start doing that every single day. And at some point, their back muscles are going to develop. Another exercise which you can do, which is great, is walk canter. Walk, canter transitions. Again, you can do it on the lunge line. Walk to canter. Do it while you're riding. Walk to canter, walk, canter, walk, canter. They don't need to canter, 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 canter. Don't canter a whole circle. It's literally the transition I want you to do. Walk, canter. Canter 2 steps, walk. Canter. Canter 3 steps, walk. Canter. Canter half a circle, walk. Okay, just keep doing that. Do, 5 times to the left, 5 times to the right. Be done for the day. Give them a huge praise. Like, oh my gosh, you're the most amazing horse in the face of the universe. Okay, make a big deal out of it. And then do it again the next day. Maybe the next day, do it 6 times instead of 5. 6 transitions to the right, 6 transitions. Maybe after a week, you do it 10 times. You don't have to do it 20 times. Like, don't just keep increasing, but you can start increasing the length that you're cantering. So now you can canter a whole circle and then walk. And then canter 2 circles and then walk. Yeah, so mix it up. Like I said, be the most interesting person on the face of the universe. The horse can never predict, like, what is my human going to do today? I have no idea. So that's what you need to do. So hopefully, I have a couple of comments. Let me just see. I think I'm going to have to wrap up questions very soon. How often do you do this before the horse starts to relax? I don't know if that was related to this. Oh, I think it was related to the air brakes conversation because I see another air brakes. So how often do you typically do this before the horse starts to relax? It depends on you and it depends on the horse. Me, because I've done this before so many times on so many different horses, in the very first 10 minutes, I could get the horse to relax. On every horse. Assuming the horse had saddle on it before. But, if I get on a horse, if I'm relaxed, like, I can get the horse to relax in just a few minutes because that's their language. Like, they understand that it's breathing. Like, they understand how to do that. Let me just quickly remove this question. Let me see, what was the other comments? So yeah, how long does it take before the horse starts relaxing? Really, if you're relaxed, it shouldn't take that long. I have students when I'm teaching them, and again, I have kind of like mastermind groups. So I have kind of clients who they kind of train with me every week and coaching calls kind of like this. So for a lot of my mastermind students, this is kind of what I'm teaching. I'm bringing it back to basics. And, I've never had a student that didn't light bulb go off in the first lesson and the first day. And their horse, they just get it. They just get it. The horse is not the problem. The problem is trying to get the person to understand that they can stop their horse, walk, trot, and canter. They can halt or walk, go down transition just with breathing, without reins, on every single horse. And, if I try and explain that to them before I do the exercise, most of them are kind of like, no, you can't do that. Like, no, my horse is speedy. I have a part Arabian mare. Like, she's a machine. She is so hot-blooded. On the buckle, you breathe, she'll slam on the brakes.